Hello, everybody. My name is Nia, and this is Virago Woman Warrior. So, I wanted to get on here just to share my thoughts, just to give everybody a reminder. The past few weeks, I've been working on the things that God gave me to work on. And the things that I'm working on, it just had me reflecting on old friendships, people that I used to be in connection with, I used to have a relationship with, and I started thinking about the tons of people. There were so many people that I kind of lost along the way in my journey of like just life and growing in God and things like that. And friendships that I was really close, I was really close, I was really tight with those people. And just thinking about how those relationships aren't there anymore. And it was just really nostalgic, just thinking back, thinking about how close you can be with somebody. And then all of a sudden, sometime later, you're not close to those people anymore. And sometimes you feel that void of that friendship that used to be there, especially when you were super tight and super close with somebody. But I'm getting on here as a reminder to remind you guys, especially those of us who are in this transition season. We're in a season of transition. We're going from one place to another in our lives. God is doing something new. He's doing something different. And so if you're in a place where God has dealt with you about the friendships in your life, especially, people that you have had to leave behind, so to speak, people that God has cut away and cut out of your life in order for you to grow. Not even necessarily that they were bad people or anything, but they may have served their purpose in that season of your life. And now God is moving you on to something else. And he doesn't need them to be in your lives anymore. They served their purpose. I want to remind us to just not go back to those relationships. Don't try to draw those people back into your lives. Sometimes we're just so comfortable and so familiar with people that we want to just keep them in our lives and we want to hold on to them. But God cut them out of your life for a reason. God told you to walk away from those people for a reason. Sometimes it's even family. Sometimes you have to distance yourself because what God is doing in our lives, especially if we're transitioning into something different, our life is shifting. That's a critical time. It's almost like when you have surgery and you're in an operating room, it's a sterile area. Everybody can't just be in there, all crazy without washing their hands and sterilizing everything. The utensils and the instruments that they're going to use have to be sterilized. The doctors are going to wash their hands and glove themselves up and all that stuff. So when God is dealing with us and he's changing us and he's working on us and he's transitioning us into something different, he sterilizes the area. Even the closest people to you can't be in the operating room with you. It's just that surgeon and whoever his assistants are in yourself. And so it's that same way in our lives when God is doing something. Everybody can't be in the room with you, no matter how you feel about them, no matter how close they are. If God cut people out of your lives, don't try to pull those people back in. Pay attention to people who even try to come back in your life. Analyze that. Pay attention. Don't just reconnect with people. Don't just automatically let people come in. Pay attention to those things. And especially even more so if you really went through some things with people and they just weren't right. They didn't treat you right. They didn't do things right. You had to let them go for a reason. Don't go back. Don't let them back in. It's a different season in your life. It's a different chapter in your life. God is doing something new. So don't go back to those people, especially if they've done you bad. You know, it is what it is. You can love people. Sometimes you got to love them from a distance. They don't need to have access. You have to have those boundaries up. You know, there were people that I loved so much that I really wanted in my life. They were such good friends, or they were family members that I was so close to, but they weren't good for me. They weren't good for me, but because I had love for them, you know, I was holding on to them. I wanted them to be in my life. And sometimes people can be bad for us and do bad things, but we're so familiar that even though it's a negative situation and it's bad, we'll still hold on to it because it's familiar. It could be so jacked up, but because it's familiar, we're still holding on because I love them and I gotta be there. No, if God cut them out of your life, leave those people out of your life. Or if he distanced you from certain people, keep that distance, especially if you're in a transition season. You don't want to sabotage the thing that God is doing by going back to something. And you don't want those people to sabotage what's going on in your life. Because sometimes, not sometimes, but all the time, God knows. God knows when people have ill intentions, even when we don't pick it up. God knows when people are jealous of us. And that's the thing, too. We have to accept what God is showing us about people. Whatever God is showing you about people, you got to accept it. You got to believe it. Because if you don't accept what God is showing you about people, you're going to get hurt. Sometimes you get physically hurt, but definitely you will get emotionally hurt because he's showing you their heart. He's showing you how they are, but you love them. So you want to just have your rose colored glasses on, and you don't want to accept that they're like that. They got some trifling ways about them. You know, we have to accept it. Trust your instinct, trust your discernment. You know, how many side eyes do they have to give you before you get it? How many slick comments, how many dry responses do they have to give every time you share something that you're excited about? You know, don't keep putting yourself in that situation. Trust God when he's showing you people. Even when you love them, you may have to love them from a distance. You may have to pray for them. You don't have to treat them bad, but acknowledge what God is showing you, because all you do is delay your process. All you do is delay the blessings. You delay the things that God is trying to do in your life when you keep holding on to those people that you need to let go of. The people who are around you, if God has already cut people away, that's what it is. Even if it's one person, even if it's two people, that those are your destiny helpers. Those are the people that God has positioned you around, you know, for that next level, for that catapulting, for that new thing that God is going to do. And sometimes we want to go back because it's familiar. You know, it could be just like the Israelites, how God had brought them out of slavery and all kinds of bondage. They had just come out of Egypt, but because they went into the wilderness and it was different and it was uncomfortable and it was dry, you know, and they didn't like the food, they didn't like the manna, they were complaining. They had come out of slavery and they wanted to go back into slavery rather than progress and go forward and move into the new thing that God was doing, because it was uncomfortable and because it was unfamiliar. And sometimes we're just like that. Like, we talk so much junk about the Israelites, but we're just like that. You know, sometimes we want to go back. For me, it was always that messed up boyfriend, that messed up relationship. Oh, I love him, God. I love him. That's my baby daddy, this and that. person terrible, doing all kinds of stuff, but because I'm familiar, even with the messed up thing, even with the trifling thing, even with the thing that's making me cry, even with the thing that's taking the peace out of my life, even with the thing that's making my life miserable, I'm comfortable. I want that thing. No, move into the new thing that God is doing. Progress into the new. Okay, you might be in the wilderness right now, but you just came out of Egypt. You just came out of bondage. Don't go back. Don't go back into those relationships. Step into the new thing. Go through the new door. Yes, it's scary. It's unfamiliar. You're nervous about it. It's uncomfortable. I never did this before, God. I don't know what to expect. Sometimes that fear of the unknown is really real and it can be paralyzing. But trust God. Don't stay in something just because it's familiar. Don't do that. Don't stay because it's familiar. And sometimes we have dealt with people that don't mean us any good, and they've betrayed us, and they showed us who they really are, and we just still don't want to accept it. But the thing is, loyalty cannot be taught. Loyalty can't be taught. If I'm friends with you and I gotta be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't do this, don't do that. I need you to do that. Nah, I can't teach you that. Like, either it's in you or it's not. And people that God has removed, a lot of times they are not loyal. They're not loyal. And if you keep them close to you, they're going to hurt you. It's just going to be a deeper betrayal, and you're just going to feel worse than you did in the beginning. So I just wanted to give that reminder because I was just reflecting and thinking on those things. There are friends that I miss terribly, people that I was so close to, people who I thought loved me, and them same people are not here. Some of them never had my best interest at heart at all. And I didn't want to see it. And I just delayed my process. And God just had to keep talking to me and talking to me and talking to me. We just have to accept it. We have to believe God, believe what He's showing you about people, and believe what He's showing you about yourself. You can make it. You can do it. Even if it's a new thing, even if it's something you never did before, even if it's an area you never walked into before, you can do it. God is with you. And sometimes the holdup too is because we are so worried about what people think. I used to be so concerned with, oh, they think I'm like this. They think I'm not nice. Why don't they like me? I didn't do anything to them. I have their best interest at heart. They're my friend. You know what? It doesn't matter. You are not responsible for how somebody feels about you. As long as you know that you are doing right by people, your heart is clear before God, you're not willfully and intentionally treating people bad, you can't worry about how they feel about you or why they feel the way they feel about you. That's a them problem. Everybody is not going to like you. And I had to accept that. I used to be such a people pleaser, want everybody to like me. Everybody's not going to like you. Some people don't like you and they don't even know why they don't like you. They just don't like you. But if everybody does like you, you're doing something wrong. There's no way in the world everybody should like you. No, because we're gonna ruffle people's feathers. We're gonna do things. We all have different personalities and different character traits. We're not all going to get along, and it's okay. As long as you know you're not hurting anybody and you're not being malicious, you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay. Sometimes we're so wrapped up in our emotions and our feelings that we can't get past things. We're stuck. We're worried about what people think. Somebody don't like you, so what? So, so Jesus loves you. That's all that matters. So what? So what if they don't like you? It's okay. They'll live and you will live. It's okay. Everybody's not gonna like you, you know. And I had to get to that place. I had to accept what God was showing me about people, people that I love, people that I grew up with, people that I felt like were my best friends. But at the end of the day, I had to acknowledge that there were a lot of things that I was overlooking. There were a lot of red flags that I overlooked. There were a lot of side eyes that I kept glossing over, that I kept, making excuses for. There was a lot of rough answers that I was getting from people that I was saying, oh, well, maybe she had a bad day and that's why she said this and that. No, some people just don't like you and it be coming out like Tourette's. They don't like you, and it's just that certain moment where it just comes out like Tourette's and they can't help it. And they just say something slick or they look at you sideways, or you're giving them you're telling them about something good that's happening to you and they all dry and just looking at you up and down. They don't like you. They don't like you. So why be around those people? People talking to you rough, answering you rough, got slick comments, making little crude jokes. Leave those people alone. God separated you for a reason. That season is over with. Yes, it hurts, but God will heal you. Let the Lord bring the people that you need in your life for the season that you're in, the season that you're walking into. God will place people in your life who love you and care about you and want the best for you and want to see you prosper. Some people are okay with the level that you're on, the old level, because it's the same level as them or it's less than them. But as soon as God begins to bless you, or as soon as God starts to bless you, now they got a problem. Now they're looking at you sideways. I had so many friends and everything before I wrote my book and stuff. But then as God started moving in my life and I was becoming to be in a better place and getting things done, a lot of people just didn't want to be bothered anymore. And it was hurtful, but it was okay. God got me through it. So sometimes you may just have those one or two people that are in your life. Be content with that. It's better to have two genuine people in your life than 20 fake friends. Appreciate where God has brought you. Appreciate where you're at now. It's okay to change. It's okay for people to fall off. Plants have to be pruned in order for them to grow. Your hair, even for your hair to grow, you have to cut it. You have to clip your ends. Sometimes we want to just have that retention. We want to have that length, but your hair is jacked up, split ends. It's all uneven. It's unhealthy. Just cut the hair. Just cut the hair. You want the plant to grow? Cut it, trim it, prune it. Pruning hurts, but it's so you can grow. And it's for the glory of God. And it's for what he wants to do in your life. And it's so you can go to the next level. Trust God and let go of what you need to let go of. Let go of the people that you need to let go of. Even Jesus, he had 12 disciples. But when certain issues arose and came up that were really important and he really needed, that dedication, he always had Peter, James, and John. Did he love them more than anybody else? No, but he knew who he needed for that particular assignment. So sometimes, yes, it's all 12. Then sometimes it comes down to the 3. And then sometimes it came down to the 1 at the end of the day. It was John. So it's like that in our own lives. If Jesus had to narrow it down, who are we? Even Gideon, before he could go into the battle, I forget how many there were, but there were thousands of soldiers. By the time the Lord kept cutting it off, like, nope, that's too many, that's too many, that's too many. They were down to 300. but it's necessary. So the pruning is necessary. The whittling away is necessary. Let God do what he has to do in your life in order for you to go to that next level. Don't fight it. Don't kick. Don't scream. Don't hold on to people. Wear life like a loose garment. Accept what God is showing you about people. Don't be willfully blind and willfully ignorant. You're only going to hurt yourself, and you're only going to delay your process. We're going somewhere. We're going somewhere. This is like that last lap before we cross over. We're so close. I know you're tired of hearing it because I'm tired of hearing it. But it's true. We're at that last lap. Be mindful of who's in your life. Be mindful of who's trying to come back in your life. Be mindful of the new people that you're meeting. Pray. Ask God, who is this person? Are they supposed to be in my life right now? And don't be afraid to cut people off. Don't be afraid to have boundaries. Everybody does not have to have access to you. Sometimes the devil will send people into your life to sabotage stuff. Sometimes people can sense that the blessings of God are about to come, and they just want to suck you dry. Don't allow the enemy to steal your blessings or to move you out of position to where you can't receive the things that God has for you. So I just wanted to come and give that reminder, for those of us in that transition season. And even if you're not transitioning, just in your everyday life, don't go back to those things. Don't go back to those no good friends. Your ex is your ex for a reason. If Jesus ain't speaking from heaven saying that he transformed that person and they're it, don't go back. Don't go back. Sometimes it's just the familiarity. Sometimes it's just the comfort because you know them. It's that soul tie. Even with friendships, it could be a soul tie. You know how that person is. Oh, but they're so funny and I love being around them and I love hanging with them. No, you don't have time for that. You going somewhere. God is doing big things in your life. Don't go back to that old stuff. Don't be like the dog that goes back to the vomit. Don't. We're in a new season. God is doing something new. God is doing something big in your life. And you don't want to miss it. And you don't want to delay it. Don't let anybody get in the way of what he's trying to do. He's making us into that vessel of honor that he wants to use. He's promoting a lot of us. We've suffered. We've gone through. We had our time in Egypt, that bondage. We've gone through the wilderness. Now we're crossing over into that promised land. Now we have to learn how to maintain the blessing. Now it's about stewardship. Steward yourself, steward your mental health well, steward your friendships, your relationships, steward your relationship with God well. And that means protecting your peace and protecting the things that he's blessing you with and protecting yourself for the blessings that are about to come. So I love you guys. I just wanted to give you that encouragement. Don't go back to those former things. Look ahead. Press forward, even in the discomfort of the new thing. Even when it's something that you've never done, you don't know how to do, it doesn't feel right, it's not familiar. Trust God, still step into it. I love you guys. See you next time.